Hey y'all, how y'all is? I'm back again. I want to talk about um not letting anyone's feeling or best fear interfere with the journey that you have to take. And it's funny, I remember years ago I was driving back from some event and I was in my zone. Like I said before, I'm not a reckless driver, but I do drive fast and I was in my zone. And the person behind me was so worried about me driving. Like I said, I wasn't like if you're in the car with me and I can be driving fast, you won't. I'm not reckless. You won't even know. You'll see the car zooming by, but I'm not a zip liner. Okay, I just drive and that's it. I'm aware of what's going on. I'm alert. I'm paying attention, and they were just Gerald. That's you having. Oh man, but and see, my thing was they were afraid to drive to the point where they couldn't even drive on the local street because they were afraid to drive. God has blessed me. Driving is in my blood. It's in my family's DNA. My father was a driver. My uncles were drivers. So it's like I took to it. Even when they were training me to drive buses. Okay, my instructor was like, "Hey, you're a natural." So, oh, so that's a little history with me. But anyway, um, a lot of times people will put their own fears and their own issues over you going the path that you're going to take. And I remember what got me was years ago when I was driving buses. I would watch documentaries at home, and I was watching a documentary on Food Channel, and they were talking about age steaks. I had never heard of an age steak, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I want to try this. Now, while I'm driving on my route, I see a butcher shop with a big giant pig on it on Flatlands Avenue. This was about 20 years ago, right? 25 years ago. And then I seen big letters, age steaks. So when I'm off, I drive by there and I met the butcher. The guy's name was Paul. Paul was so welcoming. Paul was so nice. And I told him, I says, look, I saw a documentary. I told him everything. I saw the documentary and I want to try these age steaks and everything. And I'm like, okay. And he says, all right. He says, well, do you have you eaten steak? I mean, he says, have you tried steak before? I said, I've never prepared it myself, so I don't know how to prepare it, but I've had steak before. He says, all right. And he went through the whole detail. He was like, oh, yeah, well, this is what you do. You preheat your broiler to 500 degrees and you let it heat up. He said, because that's what cooks your steak. Not only the heat from the top, but the heat from the pan at the bottom. You let it heat up. He says, you cook it, put it in. He says, how do you like your steak? I says, well, I'm a well done man myself. Now I'm at medium well. Okay, I'm finding out that there was a sweetness in it not being cooked fully. So medium well. So he gave me the instructions. He was like, okay, look, turn the oven 500 degrees, put the broil, right? And give it, 5 minutes on each side. No more. 5 minutes on each side. Fine. Now, after I bought the steak, he said, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to marinate the steak. And he got a teriyaki marinade, and he marinated the steak. And I was like, oh, yeah, the marinade smelled wonderful. So this is what I did. I took the steak home. Now, it was a small steak. It was about that thick, right? About that wide. And at the time, it was $25. Fine. Now, I bring the steak home. My wife is a little bit, when it comes to money, I'm more carefree and she's more reserved, which kind of balances out because when I want to go out and do, baby, you need to think about this and that and that and that. So I'm like, okay. But I'm like, I still wanted to try an aged steak and I didn't mind paying the money, even though she was like, well, with that, you could have bought a family pack. At the time, Pathmark was the supermarket of choice. Or you could have went to Pathmark and you could have. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, let me just try the steak. If I don't like it, then we ain't got to worry about getting it no more, right? So anyway, I get home, got the steak, and I cooked it just the way Paul told me to cook. He told me to heat the broiler up, 500 degrees, let it stay, and make it sure you got it on for at least 8 minutes, so it'll stay, the broiler and everything will get hot. And then you put the steak in there, because it was already marinated. I didn't have to do anything. Like now, I cook my steak a totally different way. I cook it in a pan with some butter and some garlic. I tried using thyme, but I don't really taste anything, so it doesn't mean anything to me. But the garlic and the butter and the seasoning. Okay. So anyway, I did it. Got the house smelling. It was wonderful. Now my wife is mad at me because I spent $25 on that steak when I could have bought a big old family pack. Fine. I'm eating my steak, and I'm really enjoying it because I'm like, oh yeah, this is nice. This is yeah. So wifey comes over. Now she's curious because she just couldn't understand why I spent $25 on this steak. I said, babe, try it. She said, now that's what she asked me. She said, well, let me see what a $25 steak tastes like. I cut off a piece and gave it to her. You could see in her face she enjoyed it. Let me get another piece. Now I'm like, all right, now, this your last piece, right? Give her the steak. Okay, and I enjoyed the rest of my steak. I was like, ooh, this is really good. So next week comes, it's payday, right? I usually do the food shopping on payday. Okay, so I was getting ready to go do the food shopping, and of course I was going to go buy me another aged steak. As I'm leaving out the door, she comes running with $25 in her hand, saying, when you go get your steaks, get me one too. I'm like, all right. Okay. So I said all that to say, sometimes when people don't agree with what you're doing, maybe because they don't understand and they don't understand the benefits that you see coming. Okay. Now with this, if I come home with an aged steak, you can bet your bottom dollar she's going to be enjoying that steak with me. And she's not going to give me a problem because she sees where it is. And see, that's the problem I have with people that are putting their fears on you. You want to do something, and because they're afraid, they're trying to talk you out of it. Don't listen to them. Okay? Go for it. Do it. Attempt it. Try it. Succeed at it. But don't let nobody stop you from going forward. Don't let nobody stop you from achieving a dream, achieving a goal. I just wanted to try an aged steak. And look what happened. Now there's something that we both like. Even though she's a hardcore seafood person, she'll eat an aged steak. Okay? Even when, and like a lot of times, and as a treat to myself, I'll go and buy some steaks. And I'll pay the price. I'll pay $40, $50. This is a treat for me. It's a treat. It's a treat. It's for me. Okay? But while I'm cooking that steak, okay, guess who's grabbing a piece of it? Because I'll do it with the garlic. Okay, I'll cut up the garlic. I'll leave them in, because she likes the garlic sautéed, and then with the juices from the steak and the butter. Oh, she loves it. Like, I'll give her the garlic. The flavor's already in the steak. And even to the point I taught my son how to do it now, so I don't even have to make the steak. Hey, son, just throw a steak in on there for me. And he'll sit in there and cook it. He's like, look, as long as I'm getting a piece. Everybody, my dogs love the steak. Okay? And I don't know about the garlic part. I think the garlic part might have messed them up a little bit. But they was like, oh, but see, we were slick. We would give them the fat. I miss my dogs. Okay, but don't let nobody stop. You're fighting enough with yourself for somebody else to come and jump on your dreams. So, go for it. Try it. Even if you fail, you tried. Okay? Even if you don't know if you're going to like it, you tried. Your answer will be whether you like it or not. That's all. And if you fail, and a lot of times, and this is what I think should be instilled in every child growing up, that failure is a part of growth. Okay, if you're not comfortable with failing, you're not going to grow. Okay, so just because it didn't work out right now, I really believe if I didn't stop, if I had kept going, I would have had at least 10 buses by now. And I let failure get in my way and fear failure. If I had kept it going now, 10 years later, okay, I would have had 10 buses by now. Okay, right now, my direction is a little different. Okay, I can still do it, but my direction is going a different path. I think I might do something. Still going to involve driving, still going to involve transportation, but I'm going a little different. Okay, so that's why. But like I said, if I had kept it up, so even if you fail, pick it back up, and do it again. But don't let nobody's fear stop you from doing what you need to do. That's all. Because they're afraid doesn't mean you have to be afraid. Because they think they may fail, you may fail. Do it again. Do it right. Look, as a matter of fact, everybody that started something that's successful, when they started, they didn't get it right the first time. And even if they did get it right the first time, there were some things that they saw that they could have did better. So hey, go ahead and do it. All right. And then you know what's the irony of the whole thing is the very people that are telling you not to do it will be the ones that'll benefit from you doing it. Isn't that something? So it's like, okay, all right. So look, I'm back on. I've been off for about maybe 3 weeks or so, and it's been getting. I'm believing God for content and things to talk about. All right. Oh, and another thing is I don't know the scripture, but I know it's in 2 Timothy about God not giving us a spirit of fear, love, kindness, and a sound mind. All right. I don't want to walk in fear, and I'm not trying to walk in fear. Okay. And I know if I do walk in fear, nothing's going to be accomplished. Okay. Instead of walking in fear, okay, think about what you can accomplish if you do it. Think about what can be the goals that you have. Okay, think about the lifestyle you can have if you just do that. All right, hey Justin. Okay, think about all those things. Don't think about it going bad. Okay, just think about the positive things and be positive about all it. Be positive in failure. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try something else. Oh, that almost worked. Let me tweak this a bit. And there you go. All right. Even when I was learning how to play an instrument, it did, and when it got better over time, and even when I was learning how to drive buses, and they were talking about going into rodeos, and I was asking guys, "How did you get so good?" And they said, "We just drove. We did it every day. That's all we did was that we just drove." Okay, I could run a bus next to a curve and never touch it because that's all I did all day long. Okay, I was shifter qualified. You got guys that can back a bus up and turn, never take their eyes off the mirror and never go out of the line. I didn't get that far yet, but if I stayed there, I would have. All right, that was it. That's what I had to share with you guys today. Be kind to one another. Continue to pray, seek God, ask God what He wants for you and what He wants you to do. Okay, and be blessed and move forward. Don't be afraid. And we got enough fear of our own. Don't let nobody else's fear stop you from doing what you have to do. All right, guys, stay blessed.